Oh, okay.
Sure.
Hang on. This hangout is on the air live. Hello. This is Coach Red Pill, and I have a wonderful lineup. And we've been just shooting the breeze and just acting really silly. And of course, now that we're live, everybody's like all very serious and pretending that we weren't being just little doofuses. I have here Aydin Paladin. Aydin, say hello, please.
Hey guys, how's it going? If you can't tell, I've got a cold, so I'm gonna sound a little funky and probably be a little slower than normal. But I think people will like a little bit of the slowdown from me.
Then there's Dr. Layman. Dr. Layman, it's a pleasure to meet you. We've never actually met before. This is the first time we've gotten to shoot the breeze. So hello there. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. But before we start, I would like to say that, to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty.
Okay, good to know. You know, because I don't get it myself, so that obviously shows that I'm just not I'm not in that level. So
Yeah.
you guys will talk amongst yourselves, as it were. I've also got here no bullshit. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for being on.
Yeah, I'm going to sound terrible today too as well, but I'm not sick. I can't complain about my IQ. I'm just always pretty awful.
Well, I'm semi-stoned right now, so that's going to be my excuse. Yeah, but
Okay,
anyway,
okay.
I will talk about the drug usage later. That's okay. And finally, we got Caolan Robertson. Caolan, how are you? How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great, and thank you all for being on. And let's just dive into it, because what I wanted to talk about, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the thing that drives me a little bit. I'm a little bit obsessed about it, I know, and I know it's a little bit pathetic, but the whole Harvey Weinstein thing has got me just riveted to the news. By the way, yesterday the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences rescinded his membership in that academy by an overwhelming margin, apparently, by the Board of Trustees. They needed a 2/3 margin, apparently. I don't think the numbers came out, but the margin was far more than 2/3 necessary.
It's so brave of them to kick him out now. I mean, oh my gosh, they're really taking a stand.
Yes, I admire that bravery that Hollywood is always so well known for.
Oh yeah, everyone's stepping up now. I mean, like you said, this story just keeps going and going. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like Freaky Friday or something. We keep hearing more and more stories coming out. I actually had a run-in with it. I mentioned this on a Twitter a couple nights ago, randomly watching a movie, Scary Movie 2 for some reason, and then boom, you got Miramax logo popping up. You got Harvey Weinstein littered in the credits. Like, you can't avoid this guy right now.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is also, there's this vibe that more is on the way. That this is sort of like, because Corey Feldman for years has been saying that there's like this huge pedo ring going around Hollywood. And that it's much worse than the ring about young starlets and what have you. But the thing that I'm really interested in is that everybody's virtue signaling now, of course. And they're going out of their way to like signal that, oh yeah, Harvey Weinstein was a monster, blah blah blah. But they kept shut for 30 years. I mean, this isn't like a new thing, and they kept joking about it. What?
It's only because they got caught. This casting couch thing, it's been a meme, I mean a real life meme, for, the entirety of modern Hollywood. The only reason they're doing it is because they got caught.
Wait, you're telling me, right, that men in positions of power utilize that power to have sex with young women?
It's unbelievable, I know.
Shocking, and bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
That's weird. That's all kinds of weird, my dudes. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like these older guys use their power to get like hot young things. I mean, it's just the most bizarre thing imaginable. And it's been apparently going on for decades in Hollywood. And so,
well, can we also just counter that? I'm not defending anything, but there's definitely instances where girls will use their abilities to get favors and advantages and. I'm not saying I'm not going case by case here, but there's definitely times that girls will have sex with someone totally willingly out of their way to get something like a job or a movie role or a Hunger Games movie series based on a book that turns into a spin-off, and next thing you know, you're in a movie Mother that's based on the Bible. And you're banging your director again. By the way, she banged that director as well. But I digress.
Well, it's almost like we're a sexually dimorphic species that have things to offer the other gender.
mm-hmm.
It's just not. It's like,
are you saying that men and women are different? Aydin,
and they have different things to offer each other. Yeah, that's kind of in terms of capital.
I'm getting all kinds of triggered right now. Okay, I don't think I can handle this.
No,
but
let's
seriously,
get Caolan in here. What do you think of this whole mess? What do you think of the bullshit virtue signaling? And do you think it's going to get worse? What's on your mind? What are your thoughts?
I just think it's astounding that the Women's March has been completely silent on all of this. They spent the last 20 years parading up and down our streets, horrifying everybody in our local communities with their tops off, screaming and shouting about this rape culture. When there've been, there's been entirely massive amounts of, rape going on. And there is no outrage within the Hollywood industry. You have people like Angelina Jolie and all of these, high-profile feminists screaming about a rape culture from normal and working-class white guys in the Western world. When it's the ones who are doing it in their community that they've never spoken out about. So they're completely silent about this. Surely, if there is a real rape culture, it's what's going on within those Hollywood industries at the very top, and yet they're completely silent about it. There's not been any protests, there's not been any boycotts to stop watching Hollywood or Weinstein-funded films. So I'm just baffled by the hypocrisy of the whole thing.
Well, it keeps being the case. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It keeps being the case with Joss Whedon, his ex-wife coming out about how he was a scumbag, and all these guys who claim to be feminists, time and time again. It's almost like, if you've got a guilty conscience, you certainly want to publicly virtue signal in the very opposite direction. And then it's no shit. Of course, people who would be drawn towards public displays or public claims of I'm a feminist if they're doing very much the opposite kind of behavior.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also, like, for instance, they're all obsessed about Donald Trump saying, mind you, the whole grab you by the pussy thing that everyone knows it was incredibly vulgar, but everyone realize, at least guys at least know that it's sort of like locker room bullshit talk, right? But he didn't actually. I mean, no woman has ever come out saying that he actually assaulted her. And I'm figuring that by this time there's so much Democratic opposition research. I mean, if such a woman existed, she would have come out already. And whereas this thing, everybody knew about it. People would joke about it in the Oscars and the Golden Globes and what have you. And I want to understand. Dr. Layman did a video today where he said he showed the experiment of a crowd of people who were randomly set adrift, right? And they had a few leaders that weren't known, but they were like 5%, I believe, was the number. And these leaders were able to guide the whole herd of people wherever they wanted to. And in a very real sense, if you think about it, Hollywood is like that. Hollywood sort of is guiding the whole population as to what is morally acceptable and morally unacceptable, especially now that the church is dead. So the issue becomes, could it be that these hypocrites, these leaders, these people have been guiding us around, are hypocrites, and they're just projecting what they themselves were suffering and victimized by Harvey Weinstein and other people like him?
For sure. And I think the biggest hypocrisy, and you're almost touching upon him. I'm thinking a lot about Jimmy Kimmel right now, the supposed moral compass of America. And I know he's denied that label now, but he certainly embraced it before. And he's the one that I think has been kind of the worst about all this stuff. I mean, a lot of the people on late night still need to come and speak up or say something or make one joke. Like SNL totally ignored it. And this reminds me exactly, I swear, I was saying the same kind of comparisons in a video I made first about this last week. You're talking about they compare Weinstein to the grabber by the pussy meme, and they act like that's even on the same level. And I was mentioning that in a video, and I swear that was the same day Jimmy Kimmel actually first broke in and talked about Weinstein, and he did tweet and compare it to the grabber by the pussy video. He sent that video to Trump's son, I think Trump Jr. or something. And yeah. I don't even see how that is on the same level at all. Like, we're talking about talk versus walk. We're talking about someone that said something versus 20 people that are talking about him whipping his dick out and jerking off in front of them. I mean, there's a big difference here.
These guys have made Trump into this idea of a boogeyman for so long that whenever they actually see a real boogeyman or a real scary guy like Harvey Weinstein, they don't even think that that's real. Their concept of reality is so warped.
I don't think that's really the central point of it. I think that when we look, oh fuck, I forgot what I wanted to say. I fucking hate you. No. Here's the thing. Points, arguments, and claims do not exist in a vacuum, and people are very picky about what arguments, what facts, what situations they accept and what they talk about. Talking about Trump has a sort of liberal anti-Trump leaning, so it's okay for most of the quote-unquote liberal talk show hosts, liberal late-night talk show hosts and so on to talk about it. The moment you introduce something that is usually a talking point of the say, Republican Party or the New Right or the Alt-Right, that's a point that people don't really want to touch because it's something, oh, the enemy is talking about it. And as such, they kind of avoid talking about it. Fruit from a poisoned fruit from a tree from a poisoned apple, something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, this all goes back. So it's interesting you did just do that video on social psychology because that's the lens I look at everything from. Of course, this is the out group. It's someone, they don't share any symbols of your in-group identification. They don't consider themselves part of your in-group. So, of course, any messages that they have are toxic. And what's actually interesting in terms of what the research indicates is that if you are capable of having a discourse or ongoing communication with someone from the out group, it tends to ameliorate and mitigate some of the negative inherent out group bad and group good orientations. But if you notice, what we're seeing a whole lot right now is that, yeah, you cannot even bring any of it up. You cannot even broach any of these topics. I mean, if they're never broached in the public sphere, and it's just like, just punch that guy, he's a Nazi, don't listen to what he has to say. Well, no wonder.
I'm currently looking through my literature. I can't find the one paper. It was a US paper from, I think, 2003 to 2005, and it was about candidate perception, how Republicans and how Democrats voted a presidential TV duel. And consistently, Republicans rated the Republican candidate much higher and were convinced that he won the duel. And consistently, Democratic participants voted for the Democrat candidate and claimed that he won the duel.
Sure. It's group psychology. We always vote for whoever we like. That's part of our group.
I think the funny thing about that is you're talking about the in and out group and then perception. I think the most interesting thing here is a lot of people, like the liberal doesn't have the left-leaning side. They're not having their proper perceptions because they control the media. They have so many soapboxes they can stand on and make their speeches on basically every comedy show, every news show, everything. And they can't even tell when they're losing. They can't tell that they might be becoming the minority or the out group at some point. It's like they wouldn't even know if they did.
Well, that's essentially what happened with the election, right? I mean, the left was so convinced, and every soapbox was saying that Hillary was going to win, that when it actually didn't turn out that way, everybody was like, just blown away. I mean, it was beyond a mere loss. It was like a shock, as if their entire reality had shifted underneath their feet. And the weird thing was that after that, they didn't readjust their reality. They're
still in it. I totally get that. They're still in that false, almost like a false narrative. Their story, like they're sticking to it. They're doubling down. I mean, that's pretty much what they've been doing since the whole year, almost year has passed now.
The answer is pretty simple when we look again at social psychology. Is that what you just described, Coach? That loss is what's called an identity face threat, because they thought there's no way that this could possibly happen. Sorry about the fucking truck. Anyway, I can't wait to get out of this apartment. But it's basically an attack on my identity because something that you thought was so fundamentally assured was disrupted. And what we find that happens as a result of that, when your social identity face is threatened, it reduces your ability to essentially be willing to see the out group or any out group, and particularly in this, since it has to be dyadic, as human. You start to see them as evil. And they're just going through this continual face threat as long as Trump is president. It's constantly activated cognitively or subconsciously. I'm actually not sure. But what we find is that typically
a subconscious thingy.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure. It's just because it's a constant present threat, right, to my identity. Right. And the way to respond to that is we see in research, and I've got it cited in one video I did, is that typically we don't hate the out group, but when our face is threatened and our group is threatened, yes, it results in out group hate inherently. So they're just pissed off. They just hate everybody because their own identity has been threatened, perceived to be threatened.
Yeah, hey, Caolan, like with the whole Rose McGowan thing, I mean, you followed that Twitter banned her for saying some shit about, what's his face, about Affleck, right?
I actually don't know about this. What happened?
Oh, you missed it.
I did.
Okay, well, what happened was that Twitter banned Rose McGowan. Was somebody who'd been making a big stink about this whole issue for a while, and she just landed right in the middle of this whole thing, and basically with the I told you so narrative. And she kept poking at Ben Affleck because Ben Affleck, she had apparently spoken to Ben Affleck back in the day, and Ben Affleck had told her that he had already talked to Harvey Weinstein and this would never happen again and blah, blah. And Rose McGowan was making a big stink about this on Twitter, and Twitter banned her for 12 hours. Right?
Oh, well, that's not surprising. It's like, I mean, people in Hollywood or anyone with power or anyone with money or anything like that always has the upper hand in things like this and censorship. It's the same thing what happened with Milo went after that ape woman, whatever happened. Didn't he call her an ape or something? I don't know what it was from that.
Yeah, it was the black chick from SNL. I don't know if he directly called her that. There was like some guerrilla comment or something. I think she might have misinterpreted. I don't quote me, but I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, which was hilarious, and she got really triggered and managed to shut down his account in its entirety forever. So I mean, that doesn't really surprise me. These things have been going on for so long with Twitter. I seem to think that I guess anyone who has influence or a PA, their PA company, can probably get in touch with Twitter and have them removed. I'm not too sure how it works, but it's not surprising when it does happen.
But what's happening now is a lot of people on the left are saying, hey, Twitter, how could you possibly do this? I mean, they are basically having the same hissy fit that people on the right had when Milo got banned, when other people have been suspended for 12 hours or 2 weeks or whatever. I mean, like, for instance, Sargon of Akkad got kicked off for 2 weeks or 3 weeks for no reason whatsoever. I mean, nothing triggered it. It was just like, okay, you're gone for 2 weeks, And now finally it seems that it's happening on the left, and now they're paying attention. Does anybody think, that this will lead the left to sort of like identify the issues of free speech that the right has been talking about? Because as far as I'm concerned, the issue is free speech. We don't want to limit anybody's free speech, not the neo-Nazis and not Rose McGowan's, right?
I think the big problem there's a problem with language here, like you're talking about free speech versus hate speech, and that's a lot of the crux of the argument, and that was actually the crux with Leslie Jones too, because one of the things she said in that situation we brought up before with Milo, she said hate speech is not free speech. That was her quote. And I think I saw that on another video that went over it. But basically, they just say anything they don't like is hate speech. I mean, what is hate speech anyway? I've been getting this bullshit thrown at me all the time on YouTube. They try to strike videos for hate speech, and it's just basically stuff they don't like. And they do the same thing. Another term, a little bit less so, but they like to say facts, and they like to pretend to be like scientific. Like they act like the left is the scientific or like factual side. And they'll say things like facts when it's just really whatever they say according to them is a fact.
Well, hate speech, according to them, is what they do. Like, according to their idea of hate speech, is what they do about anyone who is white. Like, the anti-white rhetoric and all that kind of, straight white rhetoric that they go after is basically hate speech. And anything that we do that counters that is technically hate speech on their behalf. So there's no real definition of it. It's such nonsense. I don't think we're ever going to go back to a time where we have true free speech in the West, in America or Canada or anything like that. I mean, look at the anti-Islamophobia law that was passed in Canada. It's such a shame. We've literally
can you fill us in about that?
Pardon?
Can you fill us in about that one?
There was like a new law that was passed in Canada last year, which basically stifled criticism of Islam, not in the most basic way, but slightly more severe ways. And it basically, Trudeau passed this, and it basically said that you would be arrested or you would be charged if you were being, Islamophobic, as if this was some sort of horrible hate crime. I always believe being Islamophobic is the most reasonable thing you can be. It's the most logical thing you can be. Criticizing is a fuck's sake. But they've outlawed it, and that's what they're going to continue doing in the West. I mean, in this country, they outlawed hate speech years. They brought in hate speech laws years ago. If someone walks up to me on the street and calls me a faggot, which, I don't really care. I don't really have a problem with that. They would actually be arrested. And if I walk up to a black guy and call him a nigger, I would be arrested as well. And I just don't think that's right. I think we should be able to.
So wrong.
Yeah, these are words. These are words. And I know people who have been tried in this country for religiously aggravated assault, which is basically shouting or commenting about someone's religion, criticizing it. It's so bizarre. If you believe in fairy gods and sky gods and things like that, and someone criticizes you for it, you'd be arrested, which is, the West has fallen. We should all just move to China.
Oh. No, I mean, I get that, but actually, the Supreme Court did in the United States just ruled that basically that free speech is free speech. In
America, yeah, but this is in Canada and the UK. But in America, it's fine. Thank God, you guys are okay. I'm
they
so jealous.
Just changed the law in California, though. The pronouns law just got passed, where you can, and I'm not sure the details, where you can get arrested or ticketed or fined or something, but
I do
there
know
is
the details.
illegal. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It's actually, this is what they did with this. This was a specific and intentional way in the door, foot in the door, right? They made it so that if you are an elderly person, mostly, or a person in some kind of home that's run and someone misgenders you, that's a year in jail and I think $1,000 fine, up to $1,000. The entire reason they did it that way was it's only right now for, I think, mental and care institutions, is because they just want to get something passed that then in a year from now they can make that a more general law. But yeah.
Expanding upon taking away our speeches.
Well, the Supreme Court was actually unanimous, I believe, on the Tam decision. The rock group or whatever that called themselves the slants as the ethnic slur, and that they wanted to trademark that, and the U.S. Patent Office denied them, and it went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court was unambiguous. It was a 9-zip decision, if memory serves. I can't swear to it, but I do believe it was. But if it was not a 9-0 decision, it was close to that, and the court fell very strongly on the side of free speech. That just offending somebody is not enough of a reason to curtail speech, and which basically says that there is no such thing as hate speech. And so you think that this is going to be like endless litigation, and we have laws on the books, and then we go to court over these laws? I mean, how is it going to happen? I'm talking about the United States, because in England, well, I'm living in the UK right now. We're fucked. I mean, you say the wrong thing and it's over, But what do you guys think is going to happen in the US?
As a tiny anecdote, are you familiar with Goodfella, the YouTuber?
No.
Anyone? Okay. Goodfella is one of the OG anti-SJWs on YouTube. Like, he's been here for quite a while now, but it's still a very small channel, mostly because of his pretty shitty production quality. But that's a different topic. Some time ago, I think we are all aware of Count Dankula, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Turns out last weekend, Goodfella got arrested as well for hate speech.
Really? What did he do?
He's from Glasgow, if I remember correctly, and he made the tweet that said, "Where is a Muslim with a van or with a truck when you need one? Hashtag Pride Glasgow."
I'm sorry, I missed the last part. You broke up there in the last bit.
Oh, sorry. Hashtag Pride Glasgow.
That's literally something I'd say. What the fuck? That's really, really scary, because that's not. I mean, it can be interpreted in loads of different ways. It's true as well. So
isn't our line of defense is basically, I was not referring to any kind of terrorist attack. That's bigoted, to assume that all Muslims are terrorists. That's bigoted. I was referring to a food truck, We could have used a kebab over there.
I really want someone to start a food truck that's called Aloha Snack Bar that serves Hawaiian themed food.
Well, the thing is about this stuff that drives me a little bit nuts in the UK, at least, is that in the UK these hate speech laws and so on, they seem so arbitrarily enforced. Okay, Goodfella gets arrested for a tweet, but some other people say, worse things on their tweets, and nobody says anything, right? I did a video on the word nigger, and I put it up there, and I was thinking to myself, not the reaction of what YouTube was going to say, or what the other YouTubers or the community was going to say, but rather what the UK police would say, because of it. Would they interpret it as like, I was doing a video that had a genuine political reason for it, that I was talking about something and about the issue of speech, and if we're like being, treating certain classes of people as above as sort of like untouchable, that they're pristine, that they have to be preserved just because they happen to be of a certain ethnic group, like basically creating an aristocracy. And I was wondering if the UK police would say, no, we're taking it at face value, that's hate speech, and you're going to go to jail. But
it's literally based on the individual, I guess. Like, I've been to loads of court cases when I was reporting for Rebel in the UK, and there was one guy who got sent down for 6 months just for calling a Muslim a Takia artist because he was like messing with hate crime facts, which is a hilarious thing to say. And he got done for 6 months in jail for this, and that's because the guy who he criticized was friends with someone at the magistrate's court. So
that's not the law. The law has to be even for everyone. right?
Yeah. But well, it doesn't work like that. I mean, it just depends on who they're going after. They were quite. I think they were like they let me off a little bit because when I was saying a few things like a few months ago when I was criticizing Monroe, that horrible Mr. Tranny, who was, saying all those racist things. I never got in trouble for those things, but I lived in a really nice house in central London, and maybe the police were like, oh, well, he's not, maybe he knows a lawyer or something. I think they go after the people who appear a little bit more vulnerable, like Count Dacula. You look at him, you don't think he's going to be super well connected and he's going to be able to get himself out of those situations. And I think the police pick on them and the court pick on him as a sort of an easy target. And that seems to be how it's working. Not really about what you're saying, but who you are.
So it's basically an aristocracy at work, but in this case, an aristocracy of money.
It's the only explanation I can think of. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Well. It's. Yeah.
It's a sick world. We're living in a sick world. I can't even talk. I can't even tweet at people mean racist things anymore. God. We used to have so much fun on Twitter and on chats in the comments on YouTube. Oh man, before they started censoring comments on YouTube, those are the golden days. There was good stuff in there. Now it's all commented. Everything's held back. Everything's censored. People are self-censoring. People are bleeping and stuff in their titles. It's like I think it is regressing a lot of ways, especially on the internet. The internet used to be so much freer.
It was much more of a Wild West. What?
Did you happen to see my my latest video?
Yeah, we did see it, and I wanted to talk to you about it. That was, but bring it up. What do you want to talk about it?
Last sentences in the video was, and I apologize for what I'm gonna do to the stream, was fuck, nigger, faggot, fuck demonetization.
I remember that line.
I think it's absolutely crucial that we essentially step away from YouTube monetization. As long as YouTube has this sort of lever on content creators, censorship is just so fucking easy. It's just, just the level of self-censorship at the moment is just beyond all belief. Now, if we were not getting any kind of advertisement revenue and even threatening to attack advertisers if YouTube doesn't step up its freedom of speech game, I think that would be a totally different situation.
I mean, Styx Hexenhammer has been talking about this for like a year or more than that now, that we can't be beholden to the advertisers, because then it does put everybody on this kind of like, oh, what can I say? What can I not say? And then it just castrates everybody's free speech.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't take any I don't take any AdSense because I don't see much of a point, because I follow Styx on this issue, because he doesn't take any AdSense. Because his thinking is that it's going to be like twisting his things. It'll influence him, and he's decided that he's just not going to do it. And I follow that rationale, that it does twist you. Because what I've also noticed is a lot of times, for the sake of holding on to my audience, even though I have a very clear notion as to why I'm doing the videos I'm doing. For those of you who don't know, the reason I do my videos is not so much for my audience, though I care about my audience, but the videos I'm doing are very much with my small children in mind, because I have two small children and my son is 2 years old, and so by the time he's in his 20s and his 30s, I'll likely be dead. And so I want to put down, on videos, certain thoughts and ideas that I think will be valuable and useful to him when he's a grown man. And so, in a very real sense, I don't care about having an audience, right? But even so, sometimes I'm like, ooh, I better not say that, because, if I do, I might piss off some of my audience. And I'm like, what the hell is that all about, right? I mean, even at that level, we're constantly afraid or wary of pissing somebody off. And I think the advertising just, especially now in this current environment, that maybe you're demonetized, maybe you're not. And content, instead of actually going out there and doing work that's really strong and valuable, you're trimming their sails to fit what they think is the prevailing wind. And even when they do that, they wind up later saying like, oh, I got demonetized anyway. So all this care and worry and effort, it came to nothing, because they still fucked me over with the money.
Yeah, I felt way more free when the demonetization sort of started, because I thought, well, I don't even have to pander to ads anymore. Like, fuck it, I can start saying whatever I wanted to say before. But they started to, I think, bring the purge even further. Like the other day, they actually removed one of my videos just because I was interviewing a guest, Tara McCarthy, talking about just because she was talking about the issue of race and IQ and things like that, very controversial. But they didn't just take away the monetization; they actually removed the video and put a strike on my channel. So that will be the next thing I think that they're going to be doing. That's something that you actually really should be worried about. That's not oh, I might not make money from this video. That's like, well, my entire platform will be fucking removed, and that's what's really, really worrying.
And I think the biggest problem, in my opinion, on this issue is with YouTube specifically, it's not so much the advertisers, it's not just the strikes. They all kind of come together, and I think this is like a top-down problem. This is the CEO and the top management people just not doing things the best they can. I mean, I don't want to completely dog on YouTube. Like, I love this. I love watching channels, and I love making videos and all that stuff. But these are decisions like from, the CEO or someone on top that are saying, okay, these people can't get advertisers. These people can't get, or these people should get strikes, and maybe take the channel down after 3 of those strikes. Like, these things we kind of like take it for granted, but they could be fixed. I mean, as far as the advertiser thing, I mean, Pornhub has ads. Okay,
yeah.
Pornhub has ads. There's ads on some of the darkest, weirdest shit on the internet. If YouTube really wanted to, they could get ads for everyone. They don't. They've decided to do this bullshit demonetization thing, and they're gonna go PC, like they want to be like the ABC of the internet or something like that. They think they're CBS or some shit, but they're not. And yeah, as far as the strikes and stuff too, that's just another thing that they could be fixing. They don't have to like be taking channels down. Why is it 3 strikes and you're out? Why isn't it 4 or 5? Why even take channels down to begin with? I mean, I don't think anyone, I don't know if you guys got channels, and I know there are reasons to take down channels, but I'm certain no one here or the channels we're watching or seeing going down that or we may be fans of, it's not like they're trying to kill someone or do something wholly illegal. They're getting taken down for opinions.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that bothers me, because the issue of whether they have 3 strikes or 5 strikes, I mean, that's their business. Doesn't really matter. If the rules are clear, I'm fine with them. That is not so much as the issue, so long as it's more than 1. Because if it's a first strike and you're out, that doesn't seem fair to me. But going back to the issue of like, why are they taking down stuff which is opinion? Like, for instance, the Black Pigeon Speaks videos that have been taken down, right? You watch them. He doesn't even say the word boo in it. There's no dirty language.
He's FCC compliant 100%. I can't believe they go after Black Pigeon Speaks so much when he doesn't even curse, man.
No, but it's the opinions, it's the ideas.
I know.
And the thing is, also what I'm noticing is that not just in YouTube, but in all of the tech companies, and not just the tech companies, and most of the media companies, you have people who were indoctrinated as SJWs in college, right? With this cultural Marxism shit that was promulgated during the 90s and the 2000s, right? These people not only graduated, they carried this forward into the corporate world, and now they are in positions of power, and they are implementing an ideology irrespective of profitability.
It's not from the 90s.
What?
It's not from the 90s.
Well,
it's post-Culture War 60s. But yeah.
But
and in terms of the thing with YouTube, what no bullshit you said is I've been saying that for so long, man. Let them put porn ads on YouTube. They would make so much money, and by the way, I would be totally fine with you putting with RedTube or what the fuck ever putting an ad on my video, because I'm fine with that. The people who are who are naughty people, just let them run porn ads. Cool.
Yeah,
there's advertisers are out there. I mean, it's YouTube. If they tried, they could find other companies to go on. Like, they don't have to just work with Pepsi and Victoria's Secret or whatever top ones they're talking about.
Right, yeah, fine, because there's tons of, and I think I was really surprised, because I thought after the adpocalypse started, what we would see is that the prices of the ads would drop, so in response we'd see smaller and smaller companies being able to run ads, because they'd be able to afford it. The other thing, though, that I have to say is, yeah, it's just, you cannot be beholden to the advertisers that YouTube makes you beholden to. If you're trying to make money on this platform, go out and find a reasonable product that you support and see if you can do a deal with them, because like tons and tons of companies do that if you just reach out. Like, I'm in talks to do it with companies that I own products from, so it's like, as long as you don't end up in a weird candid situation.
Well, Dr. Layman, you like have like some shirts, and there was something in your video that I listened to it earlier today, and you said something. Can you expand on that? Because you said that you started the T-shirts as a lark, as a fluke, and it's now a business. What's that all about?
Okay. So it's not a business. That's very important. There's the distinction. I don't do business in no shape, way, or form.
Because you're a communist?
No, because I just want to have fun. So that's why I don't do business.
Okay.
No, there are other reasons, but those are not made for a stream at the moment. So to put it shortly, during the apocalypse, I understood that if you want to make money, you have to branch out in some way.
Mhm.
And that's why I still have 2 jobs. I work online part-time or something, and I do have shirts, and I have Patreon, and I have PayPal, and all of those sources combined give me way more money than a channel, say, 10 times the size that I have right now would give me in ad revenue alone. Maybe even 20 times the money. But yeah, the shirt started out as a joke. I wanted to have a shirt, but I didn't want to pay for it. So I I designed a shirt, put it online, and said, "Hey guys, wanna buy a shirt?" And suddenly, a good chunk of people jumped in on it and started buying my shirts. So I got my shirts for free.
I bought your shirt today. One of your shirts.
Oh,
You're
nice.
fucking welcome. You're fucking welcome. Now I'm gonna have to embarrass myself in public.
Imagine the following, right? 3 sociologists, right? All of them pretty respected on campus, right? And one of them is like 60, I think 64 years old. I'm not entirely certain. And all of them have a shrimp pill shirt with a shrimp, Japanese letters beneath it, and a galaxy background. Yeah,
I didn't get that one. I got the alt-centrism one.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
So you guys think that the ad revenue is never coming back, and that content creators are just going to have to fend for themselves? Is that more or less what you guys are thinking?
Oh, I think it's coming back. I think it's definitely coming back. I think
you just have to follow the money. These companies, it's bad for them. Look, they make so much. YouTube is directed marketing. Like people pick what videos they want to watch, and then they go to related videos. It's very directed marketing for people, and people want to support people that they watch by turning off their ad block. And in fact, I find it really bizarre, and I said this before, if freaking the Wall Street Journal and any other website on the internet, not Wall Street Journal, even Washington Post, can put an ad blocker detector on it, why does YouTube not have an ad block detector?
They actually experimented with one about 2 months ago.
And they do have one now. Actually, I just noticed this the other day. Go watch, because I was making that video, go watch Jimmy Kimmel videos on YouTube. If you have the ad blocker up, no visual, it's just audio. And you absolutely can't download those through like KeepVid or something. I had to record them all through OBS.
That sounds like the best way to watch them.
I noticed that today. I tried to download a Jimmy Kimmel video today, and it was failed because he got that special privilege. I used to get that on some music videos, like top tier creators with a YouTube connection can like do something like that. I don't know how. It's some kind of block.
That's a little bit of a different block. About 2 months ago, I think, they experimented with on videos that didn't have ads in on themselves. If you had an ad blocker, a Grammarly ad starts playing, and there was no way to skip it. It was a minute long, and there was no way to block it. And I tried every ad blocker there was, and almost in every second video, you did get a 1 minute long Grammarly advertisement.
Huh, I don't remember that at all. I'm just surprised that they haven't gone further with that, considering that's the biggest reason YouTube doesn't make more ad rev, is because, with the exception of people who watch on like Roku or a streaming service or their phone, anybody who uses a computer for the most part has an ad blocker installed or uses one with a browser with built-in ad block. You'd
be surprised though. I still get surprised sometimes. I get comments about people complaining about the ads, at least maybe once a day or a couple times a week. Not much, but I'll see them complaining about it, and I'll think like what you just said. I'm like, don't you have an ad blocker? Like, why are you complaining about ads? Do you not have an ad blocker? But I guess some people still don't.
I don't have an ad blocker. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I mean, it's not like a big deal for me.
One thing, I've dealt a little bit with algorithm learning, with machine learning, and with search engine optimization in my career, and I'm really happy. I'm not gonna lie, with the targeted YouTube ads, I've actually found quite a bit of products that I really enjoyed through YouTube. So that's a good thing, I would say.
Oh god, I hated it so much. They always put these government-sponsored anti-right-wing extremism fucking ads at the start of my videos.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude.
There's like stand up to hate and like all these things. Like there's this government-sponsored video game they made where you play it and it's like make sure you like this right-wing meme. Too many refugees coming in, and then it'll go to you basically play this character, for this video game where you go around and you become a right-wing extremist and you burn down a mosque, and it's like, see, don't go down the wrong path. And it's like they have these fucking things at the start of my video just talking about immigration. So I'm quite glad I don't have any ads anymore, because who wants an indoctrination video at the start of your just to give the audience a bit of confirmation bias at the start of their video. It's not
I made a video about Islam, and it ran a please help refugee children in Europe ad in front of it. It's just like, well, you know what? Life's often stranger than fiction. Thanks.
Oh my God.
Hey, pivoting a little bit, from YouTube macro, I want to talk about something. You all know that Mouthy Buddha is doing this series on the JQ, on the Jewish question.
Yeah.
Right? And I just want to comment because there's some issues that I wanted to hear, to get myself informed, up to speed, as it were. Because I've seen these videos, and I'll tell you, my honest opinion is that they seem like, sort of like very middle of the road milquetoast. But there seems to be an issue with Destiny. And Destiny, I don't
really want to talk about those.
No.
Anymore.
Oh God, I hate that guy. But dude,
everybody
don't
does.
deny the Holocaust, guys. We can't even talk about it. Otherwise, you're a Holocaust denier.
What? You can't deny what?
No, I'm just saying this is a touchy, because if you talk about this, everyone's going to be called a Holocaust denier for the rest of your lives.
I know. It just seems absurd. I mean, the things that you can't talk about nowadays. I mean, but my issue becomes, okay, Aydin, you don't want to talk about it, but what's up with this Destiny? Destiny is this dwarf, right?
Yeah. Never heard of him.
Who's got a real beef with me that's been going on for months, and all of them asked.
He's got a beef with all my favorite people. He's got a beef with you. He's got a beef with Medicare. I mean, what's up with this guy?
Who the fuck is he? I don't know.
Oh yeah, he came after me a couple of times too. I still get his random fans on Twitter saying bullshit. He goes after people.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want to define Destiny for anyone who's watching and hasn't heard of them, Destiny is basically a Twitch streamer. He streams League of Legends about 12 hours a day, and then he also dabbles in defending incest and calling black people white
Be really
Uncle
careful.
Toms and whatever, blah blah blah. Other.
I want him to hate me.
Yeah, be really careful. He'll serve you with a handwritten cease and desist, like he did to me for saying that. I'm not kidding.
God.
Was it printed or cursive?
By handwritten, I mean he wrote it. It was in font.
How can I get one of these? I want to frame it. That's
Here's what you do. Say anything factual about him. Go to Naked Ape's video that he made on him, where he literally just shows clips and shows fucking proof of all the things. Say any of those things, and he will post pictures of your face that are unrelated to your account. And you use your face, of course, so that's not a deal. And try to just try to slander you. So now I've been. He sent me a cease and desist, and a quote cease and desist. So I had to see a lawyer on Friday to make sure my ducks were in a row.
Oh my God!
He laughed.
I would frame that cease and desist above my fireplace. That's amazing.
He laughed it basically out of the room. And he was like, "Why are you worried about that?" Well, because I don't want to get sued over shit.
Oh, people send you shit like that all the time. I get shit like that all the time. Just ignore it. People sending you.
Yeah, it's scary though when you've never dealt with that kind of thing. And I mean, that's the goal is to scare me, is to try and bully me, which has been my whole thing the whole time. Is like, hey, could you stop trying to bully me, your fans? Could you tell them to knock it off?
I would like to bully you.
Well, it's okay if you bully me, Layman. We both agree that's all right.
Okay.
Bully me, senpai.
Okay, it's getting weird again. It's getting deep again. Oh no!
I hear the ghost of Harvey Weinstein. What's that all about?
Here's a really funny, short, weird anecdote. My
Destiny?
with Destiny were nothing but polite and very simple. And at one point on stream, he even was like surprised that we did a collab because he thought that I was a smart guy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
you said that to me.
It's so weird. So many people that are like anti SJW or like quote unquote SJW proper watch my stuff and they are like, why am I so non-controversial? Help me, Aydin. How do I become like you? I want to be hated.
I don't think I'm really hated. It's just by this like one.
If you want to be hated, I'm the guy to see. I can give you.
That's true. Yeah, he's better at it.
Yeah, I have the knack. You know, see, it's a talent. You know, and you have to practice it. You know, like all good things. You know, Layman.
I think the key to being hated is to not be likable.
I just wait. I just recognized your voice. Oh God! Didn't you do the crowd personality analysis video?
Yeah, that was me. You didn't know?
Oh, you didn't know where you were.
Another piece of the puzzle.
How did you even get on the stream? Did this guy hack the stream?
I was invited. I just went to stream.
Are we mortal enemies now? No, Dr. Layman, I love you so much. Don't go.
Why should I? Wait, what? Why? What?
No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
Oh, no.
You didn't realize I was the guy who did the hit piece on Kraut? I didn't hit piece.
I want a hit piece.
Oh no, we disagree on something. No, come to the police. No.
No, what happened to poor Kraut now that we're talking about it? I mean, he disappeared from the scene, poor thing.
I have actually no idea. I know that I would assume that he took some time off to collect his thoughts, you know, get back on track.
I think that's it.
I have no idea, to be honest. I'm gonna hit him up actually later today to see if I can get him to talk to me.
Yeah,
well,
the word around.
he's not a fan of me either. He's not a fan of me either. But at least when I last talked to Ape about it, it said he was basically taking some time off.
Yeah, well, the word around the campfire was that his SJW girlfriend sort of like egged him on, and so, or I don't know if she was SJ.
I think I know who it was, but I don't think it was her.
Oh, wasn't somebody in the YouTube community?
I'm not saying shit other than that.
No, yeah, and we all have our suspicions. I mean, poor bastard, because I think he's talented. I think he's really talented, right? Okay, Layman, you disagree. Please explain.
Well, actually, I disagree. I mean, he came out of nowhere and with very little actual research, and that's not meant to insult him or anything, right? With very little sort of academic credibility, he became someone. He got up to 100,000 subscribers in like 2 months. Yeah. I mean, he is very talented in motivating crowds, very well spoken, very good at the whole YouTube game. I'm very much impressed with him. I'm even jealous, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. I've always liked Kraut. Yeah, at least he's very entertaining and he makes good videos, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But well, not necessarily the most well researched. But hey, there's very few people who actually do very well researched videos, and you kind of just have to take that as it comes, I think, or with a grain of salt, whatever. Not many. I don't know if I cut out. There aren't a lot of people on YouTube who do exceptionally well researched videos.
Well,
Layman, of course,
you
is
do,
one.
and Layman, and who else would be like somebody that you?
Teal
Deer, absolutely. You know, but Teal Deer is like off in his own little world. He doesn't want to have anything to do with anybody on YouTube.
He talks to me, or would talk to me.
Well, yeah, but you're cool. You're part of the cool crowd.
I am not.
No, you are. You know how to read. You know, and that whole citation thing that you can do. You know, not many people can read and do citations. You know, it's like I'm barely getting through my ABCs now. You know, what can I say? You got that whole reading shit down. You know, I bet you can. You know, you can sound out the word CAT. I can't do that yet. I'm working on it. But anyway, let's move on insofar as topics. I have a few ideas that I want to swing by you, but before I get into it, is there anything you guys would like to talk about? I mean, we've been talking about YouTube and sort of like a little bit of YouTube drama and all. Is there anything that you guys want to touch on, or anything that is like you just can't shut up about?
I just don't want.
Let's talk about Greg.
Hashtag back to Greg.
Hashtag back to Greg.
Greg? Who's Greg?
Armored Skeptic.
Oh please! It's that you guys going after Armored Skeptic is like a howitzer going after a little Boy Scout troop. It's no fair. I mean, okay, let's go after Greg. Okay, so what do you guys want to talk about, Greg?
I'd like to start on this one. I'd like to talk about his excessive amount of jewelry. I just don't think any grown-ass man should have 5 to 6 pieces of jewelry on. I mean, that's just me. I'm just a simple man with simple pleasures, but that's my first thoughts. I'll kick it off with that.
Actually, I second that. I second that. I wanted to talk about his ridiculous postmodern piece. The one. Good God, help us all.
What?
What?
Yeah. Well, you've got Layman here. Might as well. I mean, that was Layman absolutely destroyed him on that, because that was just like okay, that video was okay. I think this is the problem, and we've talked about this kind of stuff, or I've talked about it before, I don't even know, but it's like there is this kind of high school level mentality that has been become accepted across the skeptics, and Greg is sort of emblematic of skepticism, TM. This high school level mentality of the amount of work that I have to put into a project is like a 1-page high school English paper, and that doesn't work when you're trying. But the scary thing about it, at least to me, or the part that I find really distasteful, is that people believe you and they take you at face value because they think you're speaking truth to them when you've done a high school paper on it.
Yeah, basically.
There's this weird assumption, and I can only repeat myself, that just by virtue of being a human being, that you have a sort of inherent understanding of human psychology, of sociology, of history. And that's completely false. It's super arrogant, and it's actually even dangerous. And he very much embodies this. Like, how can you make a video on postmodernism without actually having read a single postmodern author? Like, what's wrong with your head if you actually decide to do that? It's like you ignored 2,500 years of European philosophy because your feelings tell you that you are smart, and that's just fucking retarded.
Well, okay, part of it's an ego thing. Everyone knows that, I think, at least in the case of Greg, is that he got really big pretty fast, and over. Look, it's really.
Are you talking about his subscriber count or his weight? Which one is it? I just to be clear. I want to be clear.
Yes. But no. Well, yes, but no. I think the issue is that he got a lot of followers from starting to date June, who had a lot of followers for doing. I was talking to Knuckle about this last night. Is essentially debunking bad bedroom feminist arguments is like punching a retarded baby, and so you become intellectually weak or lapsed, I think, from doing that for a long period of time, where you think you don't have that this knowledge is somehow inherent or given by God, I guess, or just put in your brain. You don't have to really research because it's really easy to debunk a stupid feminist argument. Sure. Or a flat earther.
I think the biggest problem is, and I hear you guys, you're talking about the research and stuff, and I think that the problem with Greg is he fronts as this smart guy, like this smart skeptic. I mean, his name is Skeptic. He goes by the handle Skeptic, or short for Skeptic. And if he wasn't doing that like front, then it wouldn't be as bad. He could just be like a channel. Because okay, like me, for example, my videos are 1-page book reports, and I don't really care because I'm doing it more for fun. I'm not like trying to be a news reporter. I'm not trying to be
you're not pretending to be
scientist or or whatever
you're
it is.
An entertainer.
Yeah, I'm doing it more for fun. I make my jokes. I put up this and this and this and yada 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 yada. You know what I mean? But with Greg, it's definitely ego, and it's definitely this front of basically wannabe smart guy. And the other thing I would say, just to go back to the ego, is I've noticed a lot of trend on his channel is more and more of his videos are about him. Like he half the time, if you look at like his last month or couple months or whatever, like half of the videos are about him. Like he did a video about him at VidCon and then his whole story. He did a video about him meeting Francesca Ramsey and having this whole thing go down. And then there was another one that just came out about his MythCon experience. And I'm not saying he can't do that, but I think these channels and the kind of stuff that he used to cover, it hinges on covering something like, back in the day, atheism versus this religion or this event. Like you're talking about it. And now he's just talking about himself. And he's boring as shit.
Okay, that was like the little stake through the heart kind of thing. Well, my thinking about the whole skeptic community is that they are sort of like they've petered out on this whole issue of repackaging SJW and feminist craziness and do like the oh my god, aren't they crazy kind of videos, right? That's sort of like played out, and so they're looking now for like a new target because it seems that they're like hungry for subs and hungry for page views. And they seem to have settled on the alt-right, and my thinking is that that sort of like has backfired on them badly because the alt-right know how to argue. I mean, they have a lot of faults, and a lot of their ideas you may or may not agree with them, but they do know how to argue their ideas, and they do know how to wipe the floor with people who aren't prepared, which they are easily able to do with all of the skeptics. And so I'm wondering what Sargon and his whole crew are going to be planning next, because I don't think that this this second front against the alt-right, now that the front of the feminists and SJWs has been taken care of, I don't think it's working out for them, or certainly not as they thought it would.
I hear what you're saying. I think one thing to note is, you know, I think the arguments and the topics of SJWs or feminists or you know, pro Muslim migrants or something like that, those have been beaten down. But the thing is, they're still out there. They're still getting pushed, and YouTube tweets about videos about those guys every day, all the time, about this and that. So there's still merit to just having to still beat some of them down, even though it can seem like you're being a dead horse. It's like, okay, we'll shut up about it, but you guys got to stop pushing this shit. Otherwise, it's not over.
Caolan?
I don't really know what to say about this because I don't follow that sort of stuff. I don't follow like Armored. I've never watched an Armored Skeptic video. I've never, you know, I've watched like 2 Sargon of Akkad videos, but I don't like follow any of that stuff, so I can't really add anything to this.
There's really good videos. Dr. Layman, you should check him out. He's like really
He
good.
does have, well, I don't know. It's a
Well, it's sort of like a mixed bag with Layman, you know, because there are really serious videos, and then there are the ones with sheep in them. And the ones with the sheep, you know, I wouldn't recommend as much. But, you know, the other ones are pretty good. So, you know, check them out. No, seriously. Caolan, I mean, you were working at Rebel Media, right? And now you've gone independent. And might as well just ask you, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, and if you don't want to talk about it, it's perfectly fine. But I'm wondering, what are your plans? I mean, because I know that you're developing your Facebook page, and you're starting up a little bit with your YouTube, but what are your plans? Because you're like a face in this whole, you know, culture war kind of thing, and it's a.
Well, after leaving Rebel, you know, they decided to come back and say all this bullshit that I don't know, blackmailed them, which is just complete nonsense. So I thought, okay, well, I didn't really expect that. I thought a lot of people are upset. So
sorry to interrupt, but would you mind giving me a really short rundown on what exactly happened at Rebel Media? There was some drama like a month ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was working for them. I realized a bunch of really dodgy shit that they were doing. I decided to expose it after I left. I told like 2 people that I was going to do that. It got back to them. They got really upset. They decided to offer me £20,000 hush money not to say anything. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take this money. But then I didn't because at the last minute, you know, it's supposed to be transferred to me every single month for 6 months. And then after like a week, I was like, okay, instead of taking this money for 6 months, I'm just going to expose them because I literally, this is fucking corrupt. So I did the video, gave all the information out. They came back and said that I, you know, blackmailed them. So I just thought the whole thing's just really messy. They were, you know, they were taking people's signatures and selling them off to other people. They were basically skimming a lot of the money for the donations that they were taking. And the CEO Ezra threw Tommy under the bus and said that I was blackmailing him. You know, it's just such a mess. So we're taking a step back now. We've got a big following. We're taking like a 6-week break where we're building up all our equipment, all our kit list, all our microphones, everything, and then we're going to relaunch completely with really good contributors. And we're going to be going up and down Europe on the ground reporting. We're going to be doing really good content. People are going to love it. It'll be something that's never really been seen before. You know, production values of the BBC, but on the right, on the ground in Europe, about, you know, covering the migrant crisis and things like that. It's going to be really cool. But yeah, we're just sort of taking a step back and building up our equipment before we're going to go, and it's going to be cool.
Who are you working with?
It's myself, George, who's the producer, who's obviously ex-Rebel producer as well. A couple of other contributors who I can't say who they are yet, but
it's perfectly fine.
They're pretty big, but yeah, it'll be cool.
Bring a couple of more people on, yeah. And so you want to be like, it seems to me that the future of a lot of news organizations is, rather than have a big company and a big staff and a big office and all the rest of it, it's sort of like independent guys, you know, one face with a support team, a production team, going out there in very guerrilla style, sort of like doing pieces. Like, for instance, an example is Philip DeFranco. You know, he's got his staff of like, I don't know, about 6 people or something like that, 6-8 people. And he does his show every day, and it's a news commentary show. And then you have people like Tim Pool, who's like on the ground and going out there looking for the news, looking for trouble. And so, are you basically going more along the route of commentary out of London, or
no? It's going to be like, Vice Land, or Vice, obviously far left garbage, but it's going to look like Vice. We've got all the same sort of equipment to set up 6-minute mini series and 6-minute mini documentaries and segments, just based on on the Italian border, on the European migrant crisis, covering individual stories, going to Swedish no-go zones, going up and down the country for female genital mutilation, snipping houses and things like that, basically just covering the stuff that the mainstream media aren't talking about in the style of Viceland, sort of very, very beautiful filming and things like that. And I think people will really like that. So that's where it's going to come from. It's not really going to be like individuals on the ground. It's going to look, it's going to look really big. It's going to look really cool. It's going to look like it's coming from news.
I totally believe that you can pull it off. Now, my follow-up question to that is, what's your platform going to be? Are you going to be like Facebook-based, YouTube-based? Are you going to have your own website, or what's the plan in that regard? I mean, how are you going to do distribution?
Entirely YouTube-based. Obviously, there's going to be ad revenue or anything like that, but we've got investors who are helping support it, and obviously donations that people are going to be doing through Patreon or Hatreon if that doesn't work. And the rhetoric isn't going to be too extreme, so we're not going to get completely taken off YouTube. That only happened because we were interviewing Tara McCarthy and people like that, which we won't be. Richard Spencer, we won't be doing too much of that anymore anyway. So we can survive on that platform, and it's going to be amazing. I think we can utilize all social media platforms, but it will be centralized around YouTube. I think that's where the main base is going to be.
What do you guys think of this?
Sounds great. Yeah, it's a great idea. I love seeing more of those shows pop up. Like you mentioned, I watched Tim Pool and Philip DeFranco too. So to see like more of that on YouTube, but definitely I anticipate it will be more better shot and everything. I've seen your camera work and the stuff you guys filmed before, so that sounds like it'll be cool.
It'll be gorgeous. Yeah, there's so many, we've got C300s now, and we're really, really, really good equipment. So it's going to look exactly like, BBC or television. And that hasn't really been done before on the right and all the alternative right. You know what I mean? So I think people are going to be really taken back by it, really surprised. It's that air of authenticity from high production value that I think people are really going to appreciate, especially covering really shocking stories that have never been done before, like these snipping houses. We've got areas in the UK where there's migrants jumping out the back of trucks. Yeah.
What? Nipping crisis? What's that? That doesn't sound good.
Snipping houses. It's these houses that have been converted into sort of makeshift hospitals for committing female genital mutilation of young girls in the UK. That's never been reported on. We've actually got contacts of people who have been to them, and we're going to send it undercover. So it's very cool.
That would be huge.
Yeah, it's never been reported on. Yeah, it's incredible.
Let me ask you something. Sliding into that, why is it that the Brits are so leery of prosecuting all this stuff? Is it really fear of being labeled a racist? Is that it?
I don't think we have the infrastructure to deal with it, really. Like, I think British people have had the infrastructure to deal with like our own crime. You've got the Cray brothers in East London. You've got like our own crime. We aren't set up. We aren't prepared for female genital mutilation on the scale we've seen with girls being taken abroad and happening in our own country. We didn't see it coming. We're not expecting it, and I don't think the police know how to deal with it. It's a very sensitive thing. The families have agreed to it. Who the hell do you prosecute? How do you start this? And also, there's the whole thing about political correctness. Look what happened in Rotherham, and this is the exact disaster with the whole thing. So you get a mix of the racism thing, the political correctness stuff, and just our basic infrastructure means that as a society and as a country, we're just not equipped to deal with it.
And that's it. It seems absurd. And also, the Rotherham thing popped up 3-4 years ago now. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, by this time they should have like a team that sort of like specializes in busting up these pedophile rings. I mean, I don't quite understand it, and I'll toss it off to Aydin and Dr. Layman. How is it that this kind of sexual abuse is going on? It's a known thing. How come feminists aren't up in arms about it? They're quiet as mice. What?
In political science, there's the concept of the catastrophe paradox. And I apologize if my microphone is being funky. It's my connection. I'm really sorry about that.
So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Let me know. Right. Mm-hmm. So the catastrophe paradox. Basically, it's something like this. Higher level politics usually will avoid talking about unsolvable issues because that's not a platform that you can work on. You work on solvable issues, or even better than that, issues, there are no real issues at all, right? You talk about garbage disposal, about waste disposal, about something that you can basically deal with on your first day of legislature, because that's easy.
Sure.
Dealing with the current pretty nasty situation of many young girls in Europe is not easy. Definitely not easy. It's not something that you can just do in one single day. And that's one of the reasons why high-level politics avoids this like the plague. There is nothing to gain from dealing with it. Of course, you can make the moral argument that, yeah, we can gain helping people, but that's not the code under that politics really operate. There's no power to gain from this, no votes to gain from this. So, and yeah, that's basically why they don't do it, in my opinion.
No, I wasn't referring to politicians. I was referring to feminists.
Actually,
same issue. They can't do anything against it.
I think that it stems, and My Pigeon Speaks made a great video about this, and I think that he's correct, that this all stems out of a cultural change with a fratricide that comes from World War I and World War II that fundamentally changed a lot about Western culture to be self-hating and feeling the need to self-flagellate all the time. And that's what this is, of this induction and this bringing in of the migrants as a form of repentance, because basically what World War I and II was the killing of the brother. And
right.
This has all just been an ongoing long-term, I'm sorry I'm white, I'm sorry I'm male, to fucking quote TJ Kirk of all people. It's just self-flagellation. And hey, Braven Rowan, what's up?
Oh, hello.
Hey, I didn't notice you there. Sorry.
Are you Nazi?
So I think what I would add to this is on the feminists point, I think that can also be explained somewhat by the current the current sort of hierarchy of who's oppressed, who isn't, who deserves protection, who doesn't. And I think because most of these girls who are being abused, and it's not just girls even, but most of these children who are being abused by these grooming gangs happen to be native white members of the host population. Even though they're children and even though they're sexual abuse victims, they're still below the progressive stack. So it's, feminists don't really care about sexual abuse if an oppressed person does it, to be quite honest.
It just seems insane to me.
It just seems like par for the course. And then on the politics point, I think Layman is onto something on that, because I've been thinking about this a lot. How we all sort of bought this falsehood that democracy is representative of the will of the people and representative of the concerns of the people. But the truth is that these politicians and these people who hold political power really don't have the same interests as us. They have an interest in pleasing their donors and maintaining their elected office, and they can basically just do the bare minimum.
Hello?
Sacrificing too much of that power.
Oh, you dropped out there for a second.
Oh, I was just saying that, this sort of goes back to my whole thing about losing my losing faith in democracy and seeing elected officials as essentially being part of and they are part of a different class of people. They're part of a class of people whose needs and concerns are pretty self-evidently not the same as those of the general public. So even though members of the general public may be concerned about this grooming gang stuff and the stabbings and the rapes and all this stuff, terrorist attacks, it doesn't really affect them. It doesn't affect Angela Merkel. It doesn't affect Theresa May, at least not on a personal level. So they can just kind of skirt around it and continue business as usual.
And I think moreover on that.
Sorry, Aydin, just a quick parenthesis.
Yeah.
Apparently, Caolan dropped out of the hangout. I don't know where he went. So I think maybe technical problems, because I know Caolan. He's a gentleman, and I'm sure that's popped up. So Caolan, if you're listening to us, we'll catch you on the next one. I'm sorry, Aydin, you were about to say something and I interrupted you.
I think the point is, the whole thing is, someone like Angela Merkel or any of these people, the whole point is they don't have to care, because at some point of time, their tenure ends. and then the state has to be maintained by somebody else. So they can absolutely throw it to the wind, right? They can be like, well, I do what I want to get done now, and then later, well, it's not my fault. I made a bunch of money. I got a lot out of this. I did what I wanted to do for whatever personal, intellectual, philosophical reason I had to do it, or just to please the people who are paying me off to do it. But I don't have any invested long-term interest in maintaining the health of the state.
Mm-hmm. She doesn't even have any progeny of her own. She doesn't have children who are going to have to live with the consequences of her actions and her acts as chancellor. And that just illustrates the really stark difference between modern liberal democracy and older systems where a leader sort of had to care their society because their kids were likely to be the next leaders. So,
and parenthetically, to insert something into that, a little tidbit, none of the female leaders of Western Europe have children. All of them are childless, which I think is a little bit ominous, quite frankly, because it leads to
Petri, if anyone could get her anywhere.
Well, no, I don't think she's qualified as a leader at this time.
Yeah, didn't she announce that she was leaving the AFD anyway?
She's out.
Yeah. It was a power struggle, and it was crowd.
Yeah, I'm actually to be honest, I was kind of glad to hear that, and my girlfriend was also glad to hear that because honestly, I don't think Frauke Petri was not leadership material. She would there was this one incident where she had some kind of disagreement with some other key figure of the party. I can't forget his name. He was a bit more hardline than her, and he was saying stuff that she didn't like and chastising her, and she started crying in front of a bunch of people. That's not leadership material. If you ask me,
that's not what Maggie Thatcher would have done. No, sir.
No, definitely not.
What?
No,
Layman?
Yeah, the sociology of elites is actually one of my main fields of research, and regarding our political system, there is one thing that most people are not really aware of. The European political system is tied to a system of elites, be it social elites, economical elite, or, well, political elite, and the system is very much hereditary in Europe, meaning that there is a very tightly interwoven sort of meta-elite class throughout Europe that is very much concerned with upholding the power and handing over power to either their offspring or other people that they cherish and value. There's, for example, a huge turnover of people leaving politics and going into economy, or a lot of people leaving economy and going into politics. And it's one of the big problems with our current political establishment, because you essentially have a meta class of people that grew up with very much different values than your average Joe on the street, that very much lives in a completely separate world. They have their own lingo, they have their own insiders, they have their own, essentially, complete code of conduct, essentially. Bourdieu would call this an entirely own habitus. And there is a big paper by Michael Hartman on this topic. And it's actually pretty bleak throughout everything that could be labeled Western civilization in this regard. So I would not really say that this is a sort of conscious decision to fuck everything up, but it's just that you are born into a sort of meta class that educates you to think that you are something better, that keeps you in a bubble away from the sort of average issues of the average person. So
this is what Charles Murray talks about in Coming Apart. Yeah,
exactly. So when they act against our interests, in their mind, they are doing the right thing.
Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with priorities too. It's like, who are they doing the right thing for? Are they doing the right thing for the people of the country, or are they just doing the right thing for themselves and their friends and their family that keep them in power? So I think a lot of this has to do with just keeping the power, like you were saying, in between a royal family or just a political family, a dynasty like the Clintons or the Bushes, for example, in America. And I think the misconception is a lot of people still want to have these wide-eyed dreams that politicians are going to do the best for the people, but really they're just doing the best to keep themselves in office. And sometimes that doesn't reflect on what's good for people. Oftentimes it's the opposite.
Right, and this is all of this is why it's all part of why I've grown to sort of view democracy, the quote unquote democracy or neoliberalism. I've sort of grown to view it as almost an inherently dishonest system because we still have an aristocracy of sorts. We still have a
It
political
is inherently
class who.
dishonest.
Yeah, I mean, it's there are so many of these big lies, if you will, believed by the common people that that we're the ones, the general populace are steering the direction of society, and it's just the more you look at it, the more phony it seems, the more indefensible it seems to hold such a belief.
That people are not created equal is the truth, and it's the sad truth, the one that I don't like at all. But it does mean that democracy is inherently a bit of a lie because all men are not created equal. They never will be. All people will never be the same. So yeah, there is an inherent lie to democracy. It's whether or not you think it's worth preserving that form of individualism and attempts to maintain a level of individualism and liberty over being more honest.
It's also. I mean, it's also worth noting that the men who wrote those words, all men are created equal. The men who wrote those words did not believe it in the literalist way that we believe it now, by any means. When they said men, they were talking about like their
aristocracy.
People. Right. They weren't talking about just men as in human beings in general.
Yeah,
sure. America was a written down Christian white nation for like 100 years before they even let in anyone become citizens or vote or anything like that.
Well, man, that's you better be careful. I'm sensing my crypto fascism detector is going off.
I mean, it's just like a virtual. It's like a virtual ethno state if you think about it. But things change over time, and then things upgrade, and then you could take new interpretations of the Declaration or the Bill of Rights or this or that, and like you were saying, now it is for all men and women, no matter what race or creed, and we've updated things over time. But yeah, there's just a certain misconception there that we're trying to, everyone's created equal, and it's always been that way. Like if you go back in history, even less, you don't have to go back that far, you can find all kinds of inconsistencies.
Yeah, I mean, the goalposts have been moved very, very, very far from where they originally sat, if you want to think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Something, before I forget this is sort of a digression, but right before Caolan left, he was talking about production quality and how he's planning to really step up his game and start making stuff that looks, is on par with like BBC and things like that in terms of quality. And I just had a thought while I was listening to him talk about that. This is something that seems to freak the left out in some sense when they see like right-wing content, whether it's just basic conservative or nationalist or whatever type of content, especially the kind of pertaining to the kind of stuff we're talking about here, the xenophobia, crypto fascist stuff. When they see something with good production quality like Black Pigeon Speaks, they seem to hold that as a point against it. They say it in this like sinister, they say, oh, it's slick production. It's so slick and neatly packaged. And like they were saying that about Mouthy Buddha's videos too recently that he made. It's such slick production. And they say this as if it's like supposed to be intimidating and scary and a strike against it in itself. So I think that's going to be fun to...
The left can't meme, right?
What?
I mean,
pretty bad at memeing.
That was a
To be
joke.
fair.
That was a joke. I'm sorry.
I missed it. I didn't hear it. What did you say?
No, I mean it. Sorry, Layman, go ahead.
No, my joke game is shit today. So
It didn't land. Didn't hit the way you wanted it to.
Didn't connect at all. I'm fucking ashamed. I'm gonna leave now.
Don't.
It's so sad.
Don't leave.
No, but what I'm saying is that there, it sort of goes back to no bullshit's point as well. You were saying how the left is they're like fish in water, and they're so used to all of the high quality productions and the mainstream media and all of the professionally done stuff. They're so used to it reflecting their point of view that when they see something that's well made and well put together, well produced, well researched, flashy effects and all this stuff. It freaks them out. It jars them. It's like a shock to their system because they have this stereotype that right wingers are all uneducated and incompetent, and we're all.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite. They're used to the slick production values, delivering smooth as syrup, left-wing ideas. And so when they have the same kind of slick thing, delivering right-wing ideas, and convincingly, that's the sin. It's not that it's right-wing.
Well, right.
Convincing.
It makes them shit their pants to see somebody competently offering an opposing point of view.
Yeah.
I think it's because...
It reminds... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's because for so long, what we call the mainstream right, at least in the United States, was so pathetic and so bad and so just full of neoliberals who had no, and the religious right, who had no ability to have any connection with anything the vast majority of people, I think, really thought or would have considered reasonably. That's another, I mean, one, it's the in-group, out-group stuff, as it always will be. Like, really, when you get down to this stuff, and, being a social psychologist, then that'd be my primary area of research. Whenever I look at stuff like this, it's always like, well, yeah, it's in-group, out-group. But more than that, in this case, you're right, Brave and Rowan, that, like, yeah, they're just not used to it because the right has been, in the United States, so laughable for so long.
Yeah, and I think they're used to just being able to say and kind of do whatever they want, especially in the media and online and on all these websites. They're coddled by Twitter, they're coddled by YouTube, Facebook sides with them. They're just so used to it that, like you were saying, I think Braving was saying something about the fish in the water. It's like they can't even imagine like being even tested one little bit. And then when they see it, they think that they're crazy, like other people are crazy, even though their videos, like you mentioned, Black Pigeon Speaks, he's always making a hell of a lot of sense. And that's what pisses them off the most about him, is he's making strong points. And then the only other thing I would say, you're talking about the production value, and I really did notice that too, because what it reminded me of on the other side, like, yes, BPS has great production, and then Mouthy Buddha has been doing a good job. There's also 1971L, a couple other guys do well. Yeah. They make the same. They make lots of great points. Obviously, they're not the same, but you know what I mean. And then on the other side, I was just thinking of the ones that are slick, like Vox and Vice. We mentioned Vice earlier today, and they're just like so far on the left, and people are so used to that. Like we were saying before, someone was saying before, it's like they're used to seeing that Vox be left wing and they're produced all slick, and then Vice does the same thing, and they got their hipsters out in Mexico wearing like button-up sweaters and stuff. It's like the most ridiculous shit, but that's a whole other story. Basically, they're totally shocked to see anyone else do that, especially on the right.
Yeah, and I think production quality really does matter as well. And as far as my content goes, I try to have the best quality I can possibly have, but I'm sort of limited by the hardware I have. I can't do like the crazy 3D effects and stuff that Black Pigeon does. Like that stuff would take me hours to render, just like a little 10-second long thing. But I think clean presentation and good aesthetics, good unified, consistent aesthetics are really important, because there's a lot of content out there, especially on the left, where the arguments that they're making and the points that they're presenting are not particularly honest. They're not particularly well thought out, but it still sticks because people can be wowed by presentation. You can make an impression on people just with aesthetics and presentation. So I think that stuff.
It's peripheral. I think that,
right.
Like people, if you can't, you're making a strong point and then you have strong peripherals. It's going to just compound the persuasiveness of your argument. This is basic elaboration likelihood model.
By the way, Layman, that group psychology video, group behavior, group mentality video, amazing stuff. I can already hear the ideological individualists screeching in the distance.
I'm actually hoping for a bit of backlash, to be honest. Let's have some fun on YouTube. But so far, I haven't gotten any.
I think it's. I think that's there. There are probably two reasons for that. One, it's you, and as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody really go up against you because you cover your bases really well, and you also present information very objectively. So it's hard, it's very difficult for someone to reasonably disagree with you or like debunk, quote unquote, anything you present. First, and second, even if someone wanted to, it would basically just be nuh-uh. Like there wouldn't really be a good argument to be made at all. Anyway,
it was so bizarre
even
to
if
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
just because I thought, okay, again, I come from a social psychology background, so everything you said in your video, Layman, was like, yeah, duh, and not bad to you, but I just realized that it's a wake up call to me, being like, hang on, Aydin, not everybody understands this, or not maybe everybody is aware of that. And I like the sociological background is totally like the sources that you cited are ones I'm generally unfamiliar with because they're a little bit outside of what I would generally cite as my seminals on things. But that's just because it's a different field of research. And yeah, that was refreshing only because it's like sometimes I take for granted that everyone understands that group psychology exists and is like the way that the human psyche works in any social interaction.
I know what you mean. I often catch myself droning on about like some sociological phenomenon or another, and and I assume that just everyone knows what a habitus is or what a class fraction is, And
right? Yeah.
I realized, oh God, literally no one understands what I'm talking about. No.
I think there
the
really
bane of academia.
I think there really is a sort of, that there's almost a sort of pervasive cult of the quote unquote the individual. There's a sort of like religious belief in people being, totally rational and, acting as solely as individuals and never being influenced by other people, never being influenced by, whatever in-group they may belong to. I mean, there's a whole variety of things. It could be a national in-group, it could be a communal in-group, it could be racial or ethnic or religious.
Or what happens is a lot of other things going on in our society depend on the illusion of a rational individual. I mean, like for instance, neoliberal economics, it depends on the illusion of the rational investor, of the rational entrepreneur. And
right.
So
I mean, that's
you need to have that illusion, even though it's an illusion, even though we all agree that it's a little bit of a nonsense.
Right, but I think we should be careful not to let that illusion guide what we believe to be true or false too strongly, because if we do that, then we end up believing things that are by extension themselves also not true and are also illusory.
But yeah, but the thing is, see, macroeconomics, orthodox macroeconomics at this time believes that basically. That's why a lot of the policies that they're pursuing, for instance, allowing monopolies to flourish, that's part of the reason that we have these problems in the economy, because they are living under this illusion and they don't want to get out of this illusion. They don't think it's an illusion. They believe it. For them, it's true. It's actual. It's the way
it's essential.
Yeah, exactly. And so they're not going to get out of the illusion. Okay, we who are sort of like stepped out of it, and we have Aydin and Layman to like illuminate our minds and crack open our skulls and stretch out our brains to understand this shit, right? Well, we're able to see it in a little bit more of a macro point of view, but a lot of people's jobs depend on them continuing with this illusion. Does that make any sense?
Shrimp-pilled sociologist.
I wouldn't say that the jobs depend on it. It's a catch-22 situation, right? You don't have the time in your everyday life to deal with questions of what is a conscious decision, what is free will, what is a free decision. You just don't have the time. You gotta work, you gotta make money, you gotta take care of your family, and you're blinded by all those sort of life decisions, life activities. The only way for you to realize that you're guided by your subconscious, that you're guided by group mentalities, would be to basically step out for a second and look at them. But no one has the time to actually do it. And that's, I think, the dangerous thing about our current system, our current establishment. People are so busy, so lazy, and so confused that they just don't deal with those questions. Also, there's, again, the attitude of I am a human, therefore I understand human nature that also ties into it.
You mentioned it too in terms of I think I called it cognitive load. I don't know what you called it in the video, but it's the same thing. We just don't have the processing power to deal with all of this stuff all the time. It's much easier to go along with the group, to go along with what you're seeing happening around you, to not question, not to think too much, because the human brain uses up an incredibly large amount of energy.
Yep.
Any more processing energy that's going to be utilized is, well, detrimental to the system as a whole. So really being highly active intellectually is all the time and thinking about everything so seriously it's not like people are stupid. It's that this is just not good for the human body to be turned to 11 all day long and to have to think about every decision or everything that you think or every choice that you make. It's just it's not manageable. You would go crazy if you didn't rely on heuristic processing.
The sad truth is that potentially you could be a very conscious person and try to do everything in a conscious way. You could do that.
Yeah, but then you end up like me and be a horrible alcoholic, fucked up person.
At the same time, you would delegate other things to your subconscious and you wouldn't even notice. Like I often catch myself going through an entire week of work without a single conscious thought because it's like, okay, I've got to work on this. And can anyone relate to that?
Oh yeah. When I used to work on a corporate job, it would be like, oh my god, it's been a month, and nothing happened in my head like cognitively, which is one of the reasons I wanted to get out of that and get back into academia and thinking about stuff all the time, because that to me is terrifying. But at the same time, again, it's much easier. I think it's less stressful. Well, it's obviously less stressful, and because it reduces cognitive load, it's probably healthier. You'd probably live a longer life by delegating.
A longer, happier life.
Yeah.
Hey. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that was just a nice.
Sorry, well, it was pause, like, I just want to mention that.
I think everyone was just contemplating their existence.
Yeah, for a second.
I offer up a few general statements, and then the two big brains start talking, and I have nothing to add to any of that.
No, I just wanted to say real quick, by the way, that I got a tweet from DM tweet from Caolan. What happened was that the electricity in his house went out.
So he was police would probably come in to shut him down for thought crimes.
Oh yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, they're out to get him probably. So anyway, okay, moving on. So no bullshit. What's on your mind? Because we've been talking about like sociology and stuff, and I realize that my brain feels like silly putty that's been stretched a little bit too much, and I'm trying to shake it, and I feel like a cartoon character shaking his head back into reality or some semblance of normalcy.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like.
I told you, I warned you about this when you invite me and Layman onto a stream together.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Dude, wait until we get into methodology, right? I'm gonna fucking steal you on qualitative comparative analysis.
Hang on, hang on. We're gonna talk about log linear regression because regressions are my shit.
Fuck off with your innuendos. I don't want to bang you. No.
Okay, I love it when they talk academic to me. No. Oh, by the way, one of the things I wanted to talk, and I wanted to wind down the conversation a little bit. But before we all get going, one of the things I'm really interested in are your thoughts on. Currently, it seems, I know this is a radical departure, but I just want to change this to this topic because I'm very interested in it, and it is the issue of Trump and his foreign policy and everything going on with North Korea and Iran and all that. And the fact that it seems as if Trump is at war with his own Secretary of State. Okay, I'm in the UK, and I'm very interested in this, but I'm not in the US, and so it's not, I'm not getting a 24/7 vibe for the mainstream media and all the rest of it. So I wanted to ask you guys, what's the vibe like insofar as Trump and his foreign policy? I mean, sort of like setting aside all the mainstream bullshit. What seems to be going on? Because it seems that like it's just chaos over there.
Well,
Hello?
yeah. I obviously I think it's chaos for a number of reasons. Let me give you my read on Trump. is that, which has been always my read on it, he doesn't think he can trust anybody, excuse me. And he has every reason to believe that, because I don't think he can trust anybody. So in terms of him and the people, well, it's why he keeps firing people, because he thinks, I can't trust you, get the fuck out, get the fuck out. Unfortunately, it makes the entire administration incredibly unstable.
Right.
The foreign policy is no different than any other aspect of the Trump administration. And that's, you know, people want to call me a Trump cheerleader, but it's like, yeah, I'm the one with the most to lose because I voted for him and I campaigned for him so hard. So I'll be the first to tell you, he just doesn't trust anybody, and not with poor reasoning, but it's not having a positive effect.
I think this is also a perception issue. Like, it seems like things are going wrong. I'm looking at Google News page, and it's like 20 different articles about something about him and Tillerson. And I don't know, I've never seen this much interest in like the day-to-day of a president or politician. I mean, I know it's the biggest office in the world, but it just seems like almost like nitpicking, like they're trying to break this down so hard. I don't remember hearing anything about like the way Obama worked with his secretaries, or the way Bush did with his secretaries, like the ins and outs. I just feels like it's like getting kind of just, there might be a microscope issue here. Like things are just under such a tight microscope because the media is got a boner for hating on Trump.
Yeah, I personally don't understand it, because I like look at. First of all, I agree with you, Aydin, that he doesn't seem to be trusting anybody. And how is he going to continue to function for 4 years if he can't trust anybody and he keeps on firing everybody? I mean, eventually he's going to run out of qualified people.
Yeah, it does seem like he is kind of going down a list of, you know, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And unfortunately, people that he does trust are people I don't think he should trust, like his daughter and Jared Kushner. Not people I would trust. But if you look at the way that the Trump family has run their business, it's always been a family business, essentially. So he's just, you know, on one level, one of the reasons a lot of people voted for him is because he said, I'm going to run the country like a business. Unfortunately, he's going to run it like a Trump business, which means nepotism.
Yeah.
Can we get some gold plates on the White House? I'm waiting for the fence to be plated in gold. That's a good upgrade.
Oh, yes, I would love that.
Little Trump logo on there.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I'm kind of you know, waiting for the Lincoln bedroom to be like you know, covered in a gold leaf. You know, that I figured is like the next step in the Trump administration. But insofar as actually doing anything coherent insofar as North Korea, because this thing in North Korea, it seems incredibly serious, and you know, the Trump administration is sort of like, I don't know what the hell they're doing. I mean, and by the same token,
let me ask you something, because you said the same kind of thing just about the policies and his dealing with Secretary Tillerson. Like, what's making you think these are so like serious and crazy? What is it?
Well, they have nuclear weapons, and the guy there seems willing to use them. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, that's nothing new. North Korea's been armed for decades. I mean, they've been an issue for a very long time. I'm not saying we should ignore it now or anything. I just think some of the controversy popping up around. I mean, what's new is what the missile tests or something.
Yeah, the missile tests, and the fact that they seem to have developed hydrogen weapons, and that seems kind of frightening. The fact that if they can put a deliverable nuclear weapon on a missile, then you know that changes the whole dynamic of the region in a very bad way. Okay, and so I'm like, who's the grown up in charge? I think that's my problem. I don't feel that there's any grown up in charge of the administration, because, like you were saying before, we all have we can't manage everything, and so our minds sort of like rely on, you know, basic assumptions, basic heuristics as to what's going on with reality, and we sort of like do that insofar as these big geopolitical issues are concerned. We delegate that worry to other people who are capable, who seem to know what they're doing. And it seems to me that the Trump administration doesn't know what it's doing in anything. I mean, anything at all. And I'm like, Aren't people in America just freaking the fuck out over this guy? I mean, people pro and con to Trump, just on a basic competency level, or people just saying, "Oh well, that's the way it is," and sort of like indifferent to it.
I mean, compared to Obama, like
Yeah.
you have to. I don't think Trump is a major step down in competency compared to Obama. Frankly, no.
Yeah,
I
I don't think
No,
people
yeah.
are freaking out. I think a lot of the news outlets are freaking out more than
Sure.
actual people.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think part of that is that they have sort of committed themselves to what you were saying a few minutes ago, to that microscope effect, where every little thing, Trump farts in front of a crowd of people. He takes a breath in front of a crowd of people, and that's some severe,
news.
massive indicator
Yeah.
of something. Yeah, it's some significant thing that needs to be reported on. So I think that's part of it. And also you have the left freaking out about everything he does as well, even outside of the news media. So there's that. But on the North Korea thing, I'm going to pull a Styx Hexenhammer here, and I'm going to say that might be an art of the deal sort of thing, where he gets up in front of the United Nations and says, if North Korea keeps doing this, we'll destroy them. And it's obviously a very bellicose statement to make, like a very grandiose statement to make. But I don't think that he actually has an intention of just going full bore and just leveling the Korean peninsula. I think he's sort of playing that deal-making game where you make an extraordinary demand and then you end up getting the actual goal that you wanted, which is a much lesser target.
Yeah,
Because I don't think Kim Jong-un is interested in destroying his regime. Because if we all know that if the United States and North Korea were to go to war, the United States would obviously annihilate them.
In a day,
there's
over the weekend.
I actually think they said it would take 10 minutes, something like that, 5 minutes for every single.
Well, yeah, because
we already have we're set up on their border. We could go in.
Right. They're over.
Right. And
the
it's not to say
the death toll of the South Koreans. That's really the only issue.
Right. That's the main issue. But the point that I'm making here is that if an actual war, like armed conflict, breaks out between North Korea and the United States, then North Korea is ultimately destroyed. And of course, there would be American casualties if they did get miniaturization, or if they did put a nuclear weapon on a sub or something and get it off the U.S. West Coast. It could be ugly for the United States. There could be lots of American casualties. But at the end of the day, North Korea would be completely and utterly destroyed. And I don't think Kim Jong-un wants that, because he's not, contrary to what the media likes to say, he's not an insane person. He's not a self-destructive person. He wants his he wants his racket to keep going. He doesn't want to just be erased from the face of the earth. So I think what Trump is doing is essentially just saber rattling to try to get them to back down. And so far, it doesn't seem like it's working, but that's another story.
Saber rattling has never worked against any of the North Korean dictators. I don't know. I'm an isolationist, non-interventionalist, so I have very mixed feelings on this. But at the same time, North Korea, they're just gonna keep doing their shit right back. And now, if it looks like they have the ability to hit California, well, I think it's a very complicated situation where certainly if I was in Trump's position, I would have no idea what to do.
If they have the ability to hit California, then I wholeheartedly endorse the DPRK's actions.
Yeah, is that really
do whatever?
It's true.
Do whatever you need
an argument that would be beneficial for the rest of the country.
But by ballot or bullet, California needs to be removed.
And I live in California too, but send them over. Come on, let's break on.
Get the fuck out. Let's just put
from LA up in here.
Just put a bunch of dynamite along the LA fault line or the San Andreas fault line. Just send that shit off into the ocean. Get the fuck off. And I have a real proper Cal exit. I would love that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Listen, I unfortunately have to head out. So I just wanted to wind down the stream, and I want to thank you all. Sorry, I do have to go, unfortunately, because it's 11:15 and some stuff has to happen over here. But I wanted to thank you all for having been here. And yeah, it was great talking to all of you as always. And Dr. Layman, it was a pleasure to meet you finally. I've been a huge fan of yours, and I'm providing, by the way, links to both your pages and your Twitters to all of you in the description here of this stream. And I just want to thank you all for having come here. And before I wrap it up, I just want to know if there's anything you guys wanted to say, or anything you wanted to, any kind of shout out, or anything you guys wanted to say to the audience before we go.
I'll just say it was great coming on the show. Nice to meet everyone. It was a good talk, good fun. Hope everyone liked watching. It was a good. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was my pleasure.
thanks for having me as well. Actually, was much more fun than I expected. I was expecting a cringy autism fest.
Wow.
I just got an autism
Wow.
fest.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I was.
Well, you know, we didn't break out any drugs yet. You know, we were gonna do
And
that
then-
in the second
Yeah,
hour. but,
you were expecting a cringy autism fest, and then I showed up and made it awesome, right?
Obviously.
Obviously.
Killing it.
I would have expected it to be more like 10,000% more sociological, considering we're not supposed to be on the same stream at the same time. I don't think. I think it breaks the laws of nature or something. Layman.
Shouldn't the universe have imploded on itself by now? Like
Yeah, it's like magic,
singularity.
matter, kind of thing. Yeah.
But yeah, it
Don't
was fun.
cross the
Thanks always for
stream. Don't cross the streams.
Thanks as always for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure, Aydin. And Braving, as always, thank you so much for hopping on. And
Of course.
and no bullshit, a pleasure having you on. We got to do it again.
For sure.
And Dr. Layman, same with you. And I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. And so this is Coach Red Pill signing off. And I want to just thank you all for having listened. And I will catch you next week, next Sunday. Bye-bye.
Sounds great.